Okay, I'm gonna read you a quote that's like on another phone. It's awkward, but I didn't know how else to do it. And it's from a book by a writer named Dr. Actually, don't know if it's Doctor. Let's just call her Doctor. Her name is Jacqueline Rose, and she is an expert on Freud, feminism, trauma, and grief. And there was a profile on her in the New Yorker this week, and I wanted to read a quote from it, which like really hit hard for me around trauma, and I wanted to talk about it for a few minutes. It says, a lasting injury done by threats of violence is the hijacking of thought. When our interiority is suborned, she argues, we lose our ability to come to grips with the contradictions that lie within us and surround us. I just want to talk about this for a minute. I think it's so brilliant. One, the idea that trauma hijacks thought is so profound because you're really like in such a fight or flight, hypervigilant state all the time that you can't even access like the ability to think clearly. And what she speaks to most directly is that the kind of thoughts that get hijacked are the ones where you're most ambivalent and confused and experience contradictions because they're the hardest to hold. It's really, really hard to hold ambivalence and contradictions and things that don't totally make sense and to sit with that. And she's basically saying that like the violence of trauma takes something from our nervous systems that would allow us the ability to think and tolerate the ambiguity of life and like that we love and hate people and feel all sorts of mixed things. But instead of the nervous system giving us the space to work through all of that normal human stuff, it's working on regulating the nervous system that's been taken by the trauma. So the idea of trauma hijacking complicated thought or our ability to like think through things in a way that feels intentional and meaningful and planful feels so resonant for me. I often think to myself, like, I just want to be able to hear myself think. Like, it takes me weeks sometimes, like, of needing a break to, like, even start to hear an inner voice. And the idea that trauma and violence subjugate our capacity to be in dialogue with ourselves feels so deeply resonant. And also, the idea of like creating enough space and time to reinitiate dialogue with oneself after calming the body and starting to hear like what's in there, what's really going on, such a central part of the healing process. I know this feels kind of abstract, but I guess what I'm trying to say is like the hardest thing to tolerate about adulthood is ambiguity. And I remember there was this time when my therapist said to me, you're not going to have a lot of luck if you don't learn how to tolerate ambiguity. And like nothing's felt more true because literally I feel ambiguity slash ambivalence about every single thing in my life. And most times, like I kind of pick a side, like the more powerful side, the side that I have more emotion on or that I feel safer in. So sorry, there's an airplane flying by while I'm doing this. Living with ambiguity, tolerating ambiguity, living with ambivalence and tolerating ambivalence does feel like something I had to relearn post-traumatically. Um, and that has been one of the central goals of therapy and is one of the most rewarding things that comes from when I am able at times, which is not easy, to regulate my nervous system. I wonder if you feel that way or if this all makes any sense.